Today we're going to talk about the phylum Pinophyta, and under the phylum Pinophyta you have the conifers. And the conifers, for an example, is the pine tree, which is what we're going to be talking about today. And you don't have to watch this video. It's strictly for extra credit for the organismal biology class with Dr. Matskin at the University of Alabama in Huntsville. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. And for the rest of the video, you're not actually going to see me again. You're just going to hear my voice on explaining the pictures to you and a couple other things. So thanks, guys. Okay, so the following pictures are of the male pine cones. If you'll notice, they grow at the end of the branches, and they're surrounded by the little green modified leaves, which are actually called microsporophylls. The brown part is actually microsporangia, which is the pollen sacs. And later on, the pollen will travel from these guys up into the female cone to fertilize the eggs. So these are the female cones. They're actually known as the megastrobulus or the ovule cone. Inside of these are the eggs, and when the pollen from the male cones goes into the female cone, it creates the seeds to give us more pine trees. The cool thing about these is that they look different and they vary from conifer to conifer, so that's how you actually identify what kind of conifer you're looking at. Okay, so I know I've touched on fertilization and told you like how each part of the pine tree contributes to make seeds for other pine trees to grow, but I'm just going to kind of retouch that briefly. So the male cone has the little microsporangia, which is the pollen sacs, and what happens is the wind will come along and it will blow some of that pollen, and it makes its way up into the female cone, and then it has the seeds. And the cool thing is that I didn't know until just like probably 5 seconds ago, is that by the time the cone falls from the tree to the ground, it's dead. So I guess at that point the seeds leak out when it falls. I'm not really sure, in all honesty. But so that's how the fertilization works. Okay, so these are just some random facts about pine trees. There's about 115 species worldwide. There's around 35 in the actual United States. The trees, they need sun to live. They don't really do well in shady areas. The only one that actually really ever has is the Sumatran pine, or the phylum name is Pinus myrcius. They're evergreen, so they keep their needles for at least 2 years. Their needles, like, they range in length from 1 to 11 inches. They produce the really strong pine scent that you'll sometimes smell when they've been disturbed or if they're overheated. Now, in terms of height, it's a little bit of a bigger jump, really, than the needles. The dwarf mugo pine, which is the phylum name of Pinus mugo pumilio, grows to a mature size of only 4 feet tall. So it's like, hey, you have a little kid sister that's 4 feet tall. She's a tree. While slash pines, or the phylum name Pinus elioti, reach about 100 feet tall. White pines reach up to 150 feet tall, growing only 8 to 12 inches per year when planted in the an environment where they're gonna thrive. So that's just kind of a little neat factoid right there, in my personal opinion. Pine trees are actually the only species of tree that reproduce from the seeds that are enclosed inside the pine cone. Pine cones are actually the flowers of the pine trees, and they can get pretty heavy. The heaviest one is 10 pounds, and the longest one that's been recorded so far is 24 inches. So that's a if you think about a 10-pound pine cone, that's pretty heavy. And then you got to add in, like, if it was 24 inches, you've got 2 rulers that are 10 pounds. That is a big, humongous pine cone. I would personally like to see the tree that's from. But so those are just some random factoids about pine cones. At the end, I'm gonna put my sources where I just got all this information from, so you could actually go there and look if you wanted to. But so yeah.